Hey guys, what's going on? It's Mrs. Diaz, and it's day 2 of our practicing because we have a test coming up. So let's take a look at homework 5.2.1, and this is about the limits. So I think it's a good idea to go back and talk about limits. In our homework, we did the odds, so I'm going to look at some of the even problems. So on number 2, if you take a look at number 2, it says use the figure to the right to answer the following. All right, so we got to go back and remember what limits mean. So it says the limit as x goes to 1. So we're going to take a look at where 1 is on the x-axis, and we're going to take a look at the curve, okay? So we look at the curves, and it's okay that it's an open circle. You see how it's an open circle? That's totally fine because the limit is a value that it approaches, doesn't necessarily have to equal. So in this case, the limit as x goes to 1 is going to be this y coordinate, which is 1. So I'm going to write 1. Okay? Now take a look at the next one. The limit as x goes to 2 from the negative side. You see that little minus in the exponent? So here's 2. Coming from the left side, the negative side, is this curve here. Okay, so this is from the left. This is from the right. But I want from the left side. So what's the value coming from the left? That's again 1. And then the limit as x goes to 2 from the right side. So here's x equals 2, but this time from the positive side. So here's the curve, and we're going to stop right when we get to 2. And what's the y value there? Well, that's 2. And then the limit as x goes to 2. You see how there's no plus or minus in the exponent? That means from both directions. Is it coming to the same y value coming from both directions? This one is going to be does not exist. The limit does not exist because from the left side it was 1, from the right side it was 2. Since they're not the same value, then the limit does not exist for x going to 2. Does that make sense? Okay, now this is what is the value at 2, so f of 2. So if we go to 2, we want to find the y coordinate, and the y coordinate is the one that has to be filled in. So what's the filled in value here? That is 2. And the limit as x goes to 3. Okay, so anytime you see limit, you guys, you have to stay on the curve. So when we go to 3, here's 3, we're coming from the left side and we're coming from the right side. And what's this value that we're approaching? That value is 2. That's the y coordinate. So whenever you see limit, you got to think about the curve. Stay on the curve. Okay? And then the last one here is f of 3. So we are going to go to 3 and figure out what is the value that is the closed point. Doesn't have to be on the curve, so this one is going to be the closed point is at 1. And that's f of 3. Okay, so I encourage you guys to try some of these. I think you have them. I hope I pass them back to you. And if not, definitely look on my website because this worksheet is on my website. All right, let's keep going. Let's try some of these here. It says find the limit if it exists. So again, we did the odds for homework. Let's try some of the evens. Anytime you have a quadratic, oh man. Anytime you have a quadratic, you want to factor. So this is a good opportunity to practice your factoring. So for this example, x squared plus 4x plus 3, that's going to be x plus 3 and x plus 1 all over x minus 3. Okay, so first thing you want to do is factor, because if you can simplify, then you want to simplify, but unfortunately, nothing's going to simplify here, so we're going to just leave it as is. And now we're going to substitute the value 3 in for my x. So it's going to be 3 plus 3, which is 6. 3 plus 1 is 4. So 6 times 4 is 24 over 3 minus 3. Now that's unfortunately is 0. So when we get 24 divided by 0, that is undefined, which means the limit does not exist for number 6. Remember though, you do have to factor before you can substitute. So factor first and then substitute. Okay, let's look at the next one. So the next one is x plus 7 on the top, all over x squared plus 9x plus 14. I think this is going to be x plus 7 and x plus 2. Those are my factors. Notice the x plus 7s will cancel. You're left with a 1 on top. Y'all be careful with that. There's a 1 on top over x plus 2. Okay, and now we can substitute 0 for x. So this is going to be 1 over 0 plus 2, which is 1/2. And our limit is 1/2. So that is the limit. Let's try number 10. Number 10, I'm going to do the same factoring. Let me change colors. So I got x plus 7 on the top. Looks like the same factors, x plus 7 and x plus 2. Just like that. The x plus 7's canceled, but don't forget what's left on the numerator. It's going to be 1. So 1 over x plus 2. This time we're going to substitute -2. -2 plus 2. Oh, that's going to be 0. So 1 over 0 does not exist. All right. There's 6, 8, and 10 for you guys. I'm going to try one more, and that's going to be one of the tougher ones in the bottom. I'm going to have to open up those Canvas quizzes for you guys so you can practice those again and review. As soon as I find out when our test date is, I will let you know. And as soon as I upload this video, I'm going to send you guys a reminder so y'all can be watching these videos and actually practicing. This is going to be our week of practice. So let's try one more at the bottom. I would ask, the class, okay, do you guys want me to do 13 or 14? I know 13 is not. That should have been 12. I'll go ahead. I'll do this one up here, this 13. All right. Here we go. And whatever I can. I don't want to cut myself out, but I might need some extra space. I got a new tool. I don't know if you guys can tell. Still trying to play with it. Okay, let's try 13. All right, the first thing you want to do, 1 over 4 minus x minus 1/4. First thing you want to do is get a common denominator. So I'm going to multiply this one by 4 minus x and 4 minus x. And I'm going to multiply this one by 4 and 4. Because we need a common denominator for these fractions. Remember, this is all over x. So 4 times 1, that's going to be 4 minus, and then 4 minus x, because 1 times 4 minus x is just 4 minus x. Keep it in parentheses, because what are you going to do with the negative? You're going to have to distribute. All over, and then 4 times 4 minus x. That's our common denominator. All over x. And remember, this is like x over 1. So if you want to leave it like that. Okay, let's start simplifying. We got to distribute this negative. So that's going to be 4 minus 4 plus x all over 4 times 4 minus x all over x over 1. Okay? And then 4 minus 4, they cancel. We're left with x over 4 times 4 minus x all over x over 1. Now we can multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply by 1 over x. Multiply by 1 over x. Those will cancel, and these cancel too. You see how these x's are going to cancel. You're left with a 1 on the numerator, and then a 4 times 4 minus x on the denominator. You can distribute if you would like, or you can leave it like this, and then we're going to substitute 0 4x. So it's going to be 4 minus 0, which is 4. 4 times 4, 16. So it's going to be 1/16 is my final answer. Okay, I think that's good, and you guys can keep practicing. Remember, this is limits. So practice, practice, practice for your test. I hope to talk to you guys soon. Bye.